welcome. You're watching the NewsHour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. We are on the Times Now veto poll. And without further ado, from Uttar Pradesh, let's straight jump into the numbers for the Punjab opinion poll. As of things today, let's start right away with the vote share for each party in the fray in Punjab. Here's what we know. BJP plus Captain is at a little over 4%. Congress is at 34.25%. Akali Plus is at 14.8%. Aam Aadmi Party is in the lead with a 42% vote share. The Sanyukt Samaj Morcha, the front of the farmers, barely 2%, and others are at 2.68%. So what are the seats like for Punjab? You have the Aam Aadmi Party again at the top here in the lead with 57 to 60 seats. Congress projected at 43 to 46 seats. BJP plus Captain, a meager 3 seats. So both of them put together are getting just 3 seats. Akali Dal 10 to 13, Akali Plus, which means Akali plus BSP, 10 to 13 seats. And Sanyukt Samaj Morcha is drawing a blank. Others will get 1 or 2 seats. So who is the most popular face for the Chief Minister of Punjab according to the numbers that we have polled right now? You have Charanjit Singh Channi at a very respectable 34.78. He's right there in the lead. 1/3 of Punjab sees him as the favourite chief ministerial candidate. Sukhbir Singh Badal is at 8.54%. Captain Amrinder Singh at 2.53%. And you have Bhagwant Mann, a very, very close second, below Charanjit Singh Channi by just 0.15%. Bhagwant Mann has polled 34.63%. Navjot Singh Sidhu is at 4.36%. Arvind Kejriwal also still in the running despite Bhagwant Mann having already been declared the CM candidate. But 7.91% of Punjab says we want Kejriwal. Others are at 7.25%. Now, because we are doing this as a tracker, we are seeing how the political graph is rising or falling for each party. Let's show you a comparison. The Punjab poll tracker. How have parties fared over the months as we have continued to track their progress? You have the Congress, which moved from 32.87% to 34.25%. In fact, we're looking at the seats first. So the Congress, which from 43 seats has now gone to 44 seats. And I'm talking about 30th of December to now the 28th of January. BJP plus Captain has remained static at 2. Akali Plus has gone from 15 to 11. So it's only going lower. If you see their graph is 15, 13, 13, 11, 11. So with each fortnight, it goes down further. Aam Aadmi Party, however, continues to go upwards from 55 seats projected at the end of last year to 58 as of today. Others will only get 2 each. So, what do the main players in Punjab think about that? Let's go across. Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Professor Omprakash Mishra, Spokesperson of TMC, Reena Gupta, Spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party, Parvinder Singh Sethi, Chief Spokesperson and Senior Vice President of Akali Dal, Kamru Choudhury, Leader of the Congress. Professor Mishra, just bear with me for a while. Let the Punjabis duel it out for a bit. We'll come to the Bengalis in a while from now. So, let me start with you, Mr. Kamru Choudhury. We had Mr. Gandhi say yesterday कि पंजाब में पंजा है, पर अभी सीट्स को देख के लग रहा है कि पंजाब में भले से ही पंजा होगा, सरकार में पंजा नहीं है.
Well, Padmaja, very good evening to you and my fellow panelists out here. The basic point is that if I am to believe your opinion poll or your poll tracker, elections is all about perception and gaining momentum. So I believe yesterday's rally where Rahul Gandhi, Sidhu, Channi Sahab and others projected a united face in the rally. I believe the perception is changing a little bit out here. To be candid about this, though we might have been in the doldrums a little bit after Captain's exit, but then that was a boon in disguise. Why I say that? Because Captain Sahab had become a liability for the party in Punjab. If the change was not done at that time, we could not have been projected up to this much as of now. And I'm very hopeful that the people of Punjab will see through the game of Aam Aadmi Party how the people of Delhi have seen them after the Delhi riot. So I believe they might well understand that AAP is I won't say a B team of BJP, but I can always say an offshoot of the BJP. So it lies on the perception battle. As of now, I feel Congress is gaining in Punjab. And the coming days, when the momentum picks up on the campaign front, I believe Congress will do wonders and again retain the state.
Okay, Reena Gupta, are you nervous? Mr. Gandhi has just kicked off his election campaign in Punjab and Kamru Choudhury says, Abhi to game shuru hua hai. The game is on. With each rally, there'll be like 10 seats, 10 seats, 10 seats, and soon they'll be at 117.
Padmaja, I don't think anybody needs to be nervous of Congress in Punjab. I think between themselves, they're quite capable of just finishing the party. And, people of Punjab also have realized that voting for Congress is actually wasting their vote. So you will see as we get closer to the elections, Padmaja, Aam Aadmi Party's graph is only going to go up. And we are forming the government in Punjab. There is no doubt about it. The people of Punjab have seen enough of Akalis and Congresses. For 50 years, they've ruined Punjab. Be it drugs, be it the rape mafia, one mafia after the other, transport mafia, this mafia, that mafia. Punjab used to be one of the most prosperous states in the country, and look what they've done to that state. And, we are saying it very clearly, Padmaja. We are saying Punjabis and Delhiites, everybody has friends in Punjab, and Delhi and Punjab have a very close relationship. We are saying you call your friends in Punjab, you call your relatives in Delhi, you ask them, हमने दिल्ली में काम किया है, तब आप हमें वोट दीजिए पंजाब में. Name one party.
The funny thing though is, while yes, you may say that the Congress has a lot of problems, but when we asked people about Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi, and remember he is going to people now saying 111 दिन में इतना किया, आप सोचो 5 साल में क्या करूंगा. When we asked, are you satisfied with CM Channi's work? Actually 46% said yes. That the Congress has other issues is a separate thing. But as far as Mr. Channi is concerned, 46% said yes, we are happy with his work.
But Padmaja, have they declared Channi ji as their CM candidate? Amongst themselves only, they are not sure if Channi ji is going to be their CM candidate. Channi ji ko to unhone aakhri mein laake khada kar diya.
I forgot to tell you.
Can the Congress spokesperson on your channel tonight say that Channi ji is the CM candidate?
Yeah, Padmaja, one small thing that
Bataiye, Mr. Choudhury.
Out here is the fact that
yes.
Once the farmers were camping outside Delhi, can anybody say that whether the Aam Aadmi Party chief, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, went to visit the farmers or console them or have a discussion with them?
Sir, can we just talk about the issue at hand? No. What has happened that people will judge on. Now, can you tell us that if everything is so hunky-dory and half of Punjab actually thinks that Mr. Channi did a decent job, why aren't you just naming him the CM candidate and put him out of his misery? Look at the number of people who are saying that yes, he is decent as a CM face. We want him as the CM face. Mr. Sidhu is not even a tenth of what Mr. Channi has polled in terms of preferred CM face.
You heard my leader Rahul Gandhi ji telling yesterday that the CM face will be announced just before the election. Election, I told you in the first place, is not a question of one man leading the battle. It's an election between organization to organization. जिसका संगठन मजबूत है जमीन पे वही जो है परसेप्शन का बैटल में जीतता है. इस वक्त जो है कि आम आदमी पार्टी
मजबूत है जमीन पे, आप ये बोल रहे हैं.
प्रॉब्लम है वहाँ पे. आप नीना जी मेरे से सुन ले पहले. आपने इलेक्शन दिल्ली में जीता था. आपने 2013 में आंदोलन किया वहाँ पे कि आप लोकायुक्त लाएंगे, ये लाएंगे, वो लाएंगे. आप फ्री में बिजली दे रहे थे दिल्ली में. वो सब वादा जो है कि लोगों ने
Mr. Choudhury, I mean, really, whether we talk about Punjab, whether we talk about Goa, whether we talk about any other state, Uttar Pradesh, people are leaving your party by the dozens. To say that, ये मजबूत संगठन है, would people, makers of Fevicol would be turning in their graves. But very quickly, Sanju Verma wants to come in. Yes.
Debate, I also can name one politician who has left the party not because he is a career politician.
Please, you had your say.
Sir, whoever leaves the Congress is a failure. People you have named a star campaigner the day before, but bhai, either he can be a star or either he can be a failure. When he's on your list, he's a star. When he's in the BJP, he's a failure. Everyone who leaves you is either a failure or the B team. Come on, sir. I mean, come on. This is getting old. This is getting old. Yes, Sanju Verma, go on.
Padmaja, please. Okay, Mr. Choudhury, we heard you. Please hold your office.
What happened
Padmaja.
in Punjab?
Okay, Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, first thoughts. By the way, Sanju Verma, I want to ask you a specific question. Other than the problems of the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party, let me remind you that the withdrawal of the farm laws and the alliance with Captain Amrinder Singh, such a strong leader, but yet you are not even crossing 3 seats. 3 seats.
You know, Padmaja, I want to say one thing. To my mind, with due respect to your opinion poll, because you predicted a victory for us in Uttar Pradesh. So if I say I don't believe your Punjab opinion poll, I would have to eat humble crow with respect to the Uttar Pradesh one. So I'm not going down that path. Good luck to Aam Aadmi Party if what you're saying holds good. Congress, is not in the equation in most of the states as a force to reckon with. It's well past its expiry date. It's well past its expiry date. But I just want to say one thing.
Sanju, can you please speak about your party?
No heckling, please. No heckling.
Mr. Choudhury, please.
Kamal Choudhury, please. Let her also speak. You got time. Go on. Yes.
Okay. Padmaja, one very interesting thing which I noticed was the minimal difference between the AAP candidate Bhagwant Mann and Charanjit Singh Channi in terms of, a potential chief minister of Punjab. From that, what I can deduce, and I think this needs analysis from media houses as well, is to recall the 2014 Lok Sabha elections and also the 2017, 28% of the Dalit vote in Punjab, lock, stock and barrel, went to the Aam Aadmi Party. Now the fact is, with Channi being the likely CM case, from what we can see in your opinion poll, will the Dalit vote get truncated? Will it get bifurcated? Will it split? So I think in Punjab, it could still turn out to be, a hung house. It may not necessarily go one way, because also don't forget one thing, no media house is talking, and I have to make this point, Padmaja. The fact is, in 2017, Aam Aadmi Party won 20 seats, fine, well and good. They won 20 seats, which translated into a 7.3% seat share. But by November 2021, we need to know, your audience needs to know, that 11 is what their current strength in the assembly is. 9 MLAs of Aam Aadmi Party either were suspended, dismissed or left the party. So the current strength in Punjab, as far as the Aam Aadmi Party goes, its assembly strength is only 11 MLAs. And my friends, I have many in Punjab, tell me that what goes against the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab is the fact that vote share जीत लेते हैं, कई बार सीट भी जीत लेते हैं, but they are not able to hold on to their victory. आपको 20 सीटें मिली थी 2017 में, नवंबर 2021 के आते आते वो 20 सीटों में से आप सिर्फ 11 सीटों में एमएलए बनकर रह गए. आपके 9 लोग आपको छोड़कर चले गए. With a seat share of just 5%.
Reena Gupta, respond to that.
Enjoy.
Two issues that Sanju Verma has brought up. One, that there is a likelihood of a hung house because of the Dalit vote being fractured between the BSP, which is with the Akali Dal, and between Mr. Channi.
So, Padmaja, it's very clear, your opinion poll pictures all of these issues that Sanju Verma is pointing out. And the last time around, we got most of our seats from Malwa. But this time around, both in Majha and in Doab, and of course in Malwa, we are doing really well. Earlier we used to be called a party of the rural areas, but as we've shown in the Chandigarh municipal elections and in all opinion polls, we are doing very well in the urban areas as well. I really have no doubt that this time around, Aam Aadmi Party is coming with a clear majority, and they are going to form the government. Bhagwant Mann is going to be the chief minister. I really have no doubt, and this is the feedback I'm getting from the ground as well, that people have decided that they've had enough of Akalis and Congresses, and this time they want to give Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann a chance.
Okay, I want to bring in the Akali Dal as well, and the question I want to ask you is that you've made some very bold moves, Mr. Parvinder Singh Sethi, when you have decided to not just field your party patriarch, but also you have told Bikram Majithia to take on Navjot Singh Sidhu. Do you think you could have done this sooner to give the impression that you're still in the race? Because right now you don't really seem to be figuring anywhere.
नो देखिए, ये खुश होने के लिए ख्याल अच्छा है, कुछ दिन के बाद सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी। ये ओपिनियन पोल्स के साथ जीत नहीं होती, जीत होती है ग्राउंड लेवल पे। मैं आप बताता हूँ, कांग्रेस पार्टी का आपने देख लिया क्या हाल है। कांग्रेस पार्टी का अगर आप रिपोर्ट कार्ड देखेंगे तो आपको कांग्रेस पार्टी का रिपोर्ट कार्ड देखना पड़ेगा, 111 दिन का रिपोर्ट कार्ड नहीं देखना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद
छोटी सी बात पूछूं, बहुत सारे इलेक्शन जो है ना, इज ऑल अबाउट परसेप्शन। आप बस इतना बताइए, एज अ वोटर मैं सोच रही हूं कि प्रकाश सिंह बादल जी को इलेक्शन से 30 दिन पहले रिक्वेस्ट किया गया कि आप भी लांबी से लड़िए। कुछ तो मजबूरी रही होगी कि आप उनको, ही इज द ओल्डेस्ट कैंडिडेट एवर टू नाउ कंटेस्ट द इलेक्शंस।
ये तो बड़े सम्मान की बात है मैडम, वहां के लोगों का प्यार है।
बोल रहे क्यों?
वहां के लोगों ने जाके रिक्वेस्ट करी है कि बादल साहब भी लंबी से चुनाव लड़े, इसलिए बादल साहब से रिक्वेस्ट करी गई कि आप चुनाव लड़िए। लेकिन मेरे को बात पूरी करने दीजिए। आम आदमी पार्टी 4 स्टेट्स में इलेक्शन लड़ रही है, वो अपना दिल्ली मॉडल लेके जाते हैं। आपको मैं एक बात बताऊं, एक मिनट मेरी बात पूरी होने दीजिए। आपने मेरे को कुछ समय दिया तो कुछ समय बोलने दीजिए ना। दिल्ली और पंजाब में कोई खास फर्क नहीं है। दिल्ली की एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली पंजाब है, जो दिल्ली के अंदर पंजाबी या सिख रहते हैं उनकी एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली है। इनका जो 1024 स्कूल है, इन्होंने 20 स्कूल का मॉडल कर दिया। वहां पे गंदे नाले का पानी जमुना में जा रहा है, वहां पे आप कह रहे हो कि लेडीज के लिए फ्री बस है। 11,000 बसेस थी, 3700 बसेस रह गई। मैं आपको बताता हूं, मैंने अपनी एजुकेशन, ग्रेजुएशन, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन 12.5 रुपए के पास में करी है। और पास आपने स्टूडेंट्स के लिए क्या करा है? जो स्टूडेंट है उसको 200 रुपए, 250 रुपए रोज किराया खर्चना पड़ता है। आपने पंजाब के अंदर शराब माफिया के लिए बात करते हैं, आपने पंजाब का शराब माफिया दिल्ली में ले आए। हजारों करोड़ का स्कैम है। और उसके साथ साथ 6-7 हजार जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब है, आने वाले समय में वो आपने खत्म कर दी। इसके लिए दिल्ली के लोग आपको माफ नहीं करेंगे। आप गोवा में सीएम बन सकते हैं, पंजाब में सीएम बन सकते हैं, यूपी में सीएम बन सकते हैं, लेकिन दिल्ली में सीएम नहीं रहेंगे।
आप जितने लोग सुखबीर बादल के लिए वोट डाल रहे हैं, उतने लोग तो अरविंद केजरीवाल के लिए डाल रहे हैं पंजाब में।
अरे मैडम, ये सब आपको पता है, मेरे से ज्यादा पता है। आप पत्रकार है, आप मेरे से ज्यादा पत्रकार है। इन ओपिनियन पोल की
मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, मैं तो ओपिनियन पोल बता रही हूँ।
नहीं, क्रेडिबिलिटी कितनी है इनकी, ये आप मेरे से ज्यादा जानती हैं। इनकी क्रेडिबिलिटी, जिन लोगों ने काम करा है, जो लोग अपना रिपोर्ट कार्ड लेके गए हैं, जो आम लोगों के साथ विचरे हैं, और जो पंजाब की पार्टी है वही वहां पे आएगी। ये आपको पता लगेगा। मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आपको ओपिनियन पोल है, जब चुनाव होगा इसके रिजल्ट आएंगे, 80+ सीटों के साथ अकाली दल वहां पे अपनी सरकार बनाएगी। फिर मैं आपके साथ बैठूंगा, फिर बात करूंगा।
सर, एक विश्लेषक के तौर पे, क्योंकि आपको इतना एक्सपीरियंस है, आप वाइस प्रेसिडेंट भी है वहां के, एक बड़ी दिलचस्प चीज यहां पे दिख रही है कि पहले जो सारी सीटें थी आम आदमी पार्टी की, 20 सीटें वो मालवा से आई थी। इस बार ऐसा दिख रहा है इस पोल में कि वो मालवा को स्वीप कर रहे हैं। 40 सीटें तक दिखा रहा है ये ओपिनियन पोल मालवा रीजन में। और जो दलित वोट जहां पर है, वहां पे वहीं से सबसे ज्यादा कांग्रेस को वोट मिल रहा है, यानी कि दोआब से अपनी सबसे ज्यादा सीटें दोआब से मिल रही हैं। तो पहले आम आदमी पार्टी जो स्वीप दिखा रहा है मालवा में, उसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, पंजाब का रिजल्ट मांझा, मालवा और दोआबा से आता है, मैं आपको बताता हूं। लेकिन आप देखिए, इनकी पहले 20 सीटें आई, 11 एमएलए भाग गए। अब इनका अपना नेता तो कोई है नहीं, ये सब नेता इंपोर्ट करके ला रहे हैं। जो व्यक्ति कांग्रेस का लीडर है वो आम आदमी से चुनाव लड़ रहा है। अब आपको मैं बताऊं, दिल्ली के अंदर भी इन्होंने कांग्रेस के लोगों को, जिन लोगों को कांग्रेस ने नकार दिया, उनको टिकटें दी और टिकटें बेची। मैं साफ कहता हूं, दिल्ली में भी टिकटें बेची। आप ईमानदारी की बात करते हैं, आप ये कहिए हमने टिकटें नहीं बेची। मैं आपको बताऊंगा, दिल्ली के अंदर आपने 15 लोगों को, कांग्रेस के लोगों को सीटें बेची। आपने पंजाब के अंदर सीटें बेची। आप ईमानदारी की बात करते हैं, लेकिन आपकी ईमानदारी की पोल खुल जाएगी।
पद्मजा,
Okay, Reena Gupta, quickly respond to that. Then I really must move on to the next state also.
Such a baseless allegation that needs no response from me. The people of Punjab have seen how Akali Dal and Congress have looted together the people of Punjab. So let the people of Punjab.
आप ये बताइए आपका जो शराब स्कैम है उसमें सच्चाई कितनी है? आपने दिल्ली का शराब स्कैम के बारे में जवाब दीजिए। दिल्ली के अंदर पंजाब के माफिया को आपने क्यों दिया? पंजाब के माफिया को क्यों बेची दुकानें 800? आपने पंजाब के माफिया को क्यों बेची शराब की दुकानें? आपने गवर्नमेंट वाइन शॉप को पूरे दिल्ली के अंदर धरना दिया हुआ लोगों ने, आपको पता है इस बात का?
Okay.
Can I please take 10 seconds?
Please.
Okay, Sanju Verma also wants to come in for 30 seconds. 30 seconds, yes. Then I really must move on because Professor Mishra has been waiting. Yes.
Okay. One very interesting thing which the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson mentioned, and even you have said it, is the fact that, if you really want to win Punjab, it cannot be only because you have excellent presence in the Malwa region, which is what Aam Aadmi Party has been, proudly saying, and we need to give them credit. They have a dominant presence there. But the fact is, in the Goa and Madhya region, whether Aam Aadmi Party will be able to translate vote share into seat share, that remains seat. Padmaja, you should know that Rupinder Kaur Ruby, she left Aam Aadmi Party, Sukhpal Khera left Aam Aadmi Party, Piramal Singh left Aam Aadmi Party, Jagdeep Singh Kamru left Aam Aadmi Party, Nazar Singh left Aam Aadmi Party, Dharamveer Gandhi left Aam Aadmi Party, Joginder Singh Jishovan left Aam Aadmi Party, and all MLAs were people who have now built apparently a decent base and presence in the Doab and Madhya region. So with the fact that your key faces have defected and you're trying to build a presence in the Doab and the Madhya region, how are you really going to fill that gap? Because the people who are working on the ground are no longer there with your party.
Okay, fair enough, but I also have to say that these defections happened at a time when they had 20 seats. जैसे कहते हैं कि चढ़ते सूरज को हर कोई सलाम करता है, जब 60 सीटें होंगी तो हो सकता है आपकी पार्टी से डिफेक्शंस हो जाए, आपकी 3 सीटें होंगी, उनकी 50 होंगी, हो सकता है आपके 3 उधर छिटक के चले जाए. That happens. Stuff happens. 5 years is a very long time in politics, but I really have to move on now, and let's go straight across now to Goa. Let's talk about Goa. Again, a very interesting state which we are talking about because it has got so many parties in the fray. We are starting with the vote share. Alright, so the vote share that we have is BJP at 32.64%. You have Congress at 16.74%. Gomantak party is at 7.74%. TMC 2.12%. You have the Revolutionary Goans, which by the way, the local Goans were telling me is, you've got this young man who's talking about Goan identity. So that regional party, very impressive, 14.53%, and Aam Aadmi Party is at 24.85%. Talking about the seat share, Bharatiya Janata Party managing to get a majority, 20 to 23 seats. Congress is at 4 to 6. Aam Aadmi Party 6 to 10. Others is at 5 to 6 seats. And it's becoming so repetitive because again and again, we saw this model start in Delhi. Now it's being replicated in other states where the TMC, you have parties like the Aam Aadmi Party gobbling up the Congress and growing at their cost. But let's start with the BJP. So, Professor Mishra, your comments on the performance first of the BJP, which despite all of your allegations still seems to be scraping through, and you get a 2.12% vote.
This is a hogwash, completely unrealistic, questioned, unnecessary, in fact bordering on mischievous. I can very well see the frustration of BJP all around because they are going to lose most of the elections all around the country. And so therefore, it does not surprise me that there is a flurry of activities in the television studios and the newspapers projecting that BJP might just do quite well. it was very interesting to see.
Sir, we gave them
on
2
3
seats
occasions,
in Punjab. Come on, be a
BJP
little
as getting
charitable.
3 seats in Punjab.
Be a little charitable.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, no,
had to flurry, we would have at least given them a
You
respectable
have been
10
too
seats in
charitable.
Punjab. We gave them 2
Let me
seats.
point out, Padmaja.
There are more alliance
Padmaja ji,
partners
सुनो,
in that alliance than they got
सुनो
seats.
ना, आप थोड़ा
अरे
सुनिए.
प्रोफेसर मिश्रा, ये तो
पंजाब के
कभी
बारे
तो
में
अच्छा चीज
you
बोल
are
दीजिए
referring
हमारे
to
लिए.
BJP and all the
3
time you
लोगों
are
ने मिलकर
mentioning
alliance
3
किया,
seats.
हमने उनको 3
Whereas
सीटें
your
दी.
poll shows 0 to 3 seats.
Okay.
सुन लीजिए, while referring to BJP on 3 occasions in context of Punjab, you said 3 seats, whereas your poll shows 0 to 3 seats. Right. So I'm just trying to correct you that how what we want also gets reflected in how we express ourselves. Trinamool Congress is doing quite well here. In fact, we are the one political party which has reached 85% of the household. No political party has been able to do. Our ally MGP is also doing very well. We are going to have a very strong showing. And
Sir,
let me assure you
so well,
that the Trinamool
why
is
did you
going to
change
do quite well.
Luenzo
And I'm
Valerio's
very
seat?
sorry
In
about
fact,
the
you
type
took
of
away his
poll
seat
that you are
today,
showing.
gave it to somebody else, and suddenly, a month before elections, you realize that, oh, Mr. Valerio needs to campaign everywhere. Doesn't that seem a little sudden? I mean, when you got him from the Congress, you said, "Arey, we will feed him." Now suddenly he gives up his seat.
Ministers of BJP are independent candidates. It is the BJP which actually has been losing out on people, and we do know what type of characters have been put up by the BJP here in Goa. So it is the BJP which possibly needs very artificially pumped up a situation as that you are trying to show. BJP is nowhere near power here in the state.
Okay, very quickly respond to that, Sanju Verma. Artificially pumped up numbers.
Padmaja, first and foremost, I have absolutely no doubt that the BJP is romping home with a clear majority in Goa. And, you know, what I found very interesting was your numbers. Last time also, in the assembly elections in Goa, the BJP vote share was 32%. But we had not won the 20 to 22 seats that this time you are giving us. Whereas this time also, the vote share that you are giving the BJP is 32.6%. Now, what does that tell you? Despite not being able to increase its vote share is consistent at 32% odd. Why is it that the BJP, instead of winning the 13 or 14 or 15 seats, is winning 20 to 23 seats? The reason is simple. All the extra seats are coming at the expense of Congress, which is a divided house, and mind you, at the expense of the NGP, the Gomantak party, because please understand that the TMC has an alliance with the NGP, but now I'm told that that alliance is on its last leg, and many people from the NGP have exited the NGP, saying कि आपकी TMC के साथ alliance क्यों किया है? TMC का तो वजूद zero है in Goa, and now it seems that the leadership of NGP is doing a rethink, and I want to tell you a very important information which you need to tell your audience. Today, just a couple of hours back, Mr. Valerio, Luisino Valerio, who was the ex-chief minister of Goa, was then a big leader of Goa in the Congress party. He left Congress to join TMC. And I'm told a few hours back, he left the TMC because he was fed up with the suitcase politics of TMC. They are going around with a suitcase.
That is nothing nonsense.
Let Professor Mishra respond to that. No, his seat was taken away and he's campaigning.
He has no idea what he's talking about. That is a false news. That is a false news, completely incorrect, and it has been debunked. And so you do not know. Mr. Ferrero has addressed the press conference today. I have been meeting him. You have no idea. You are unnecessarily bringing in something that you have no idea at all.
Okay.
Mr. Valero has dumped
You do not know. Your Lakshmikant Parsekar is contesting as an independent.
No, he hasn't. As of today, he attended a press conference. So let's wait for that. If this is something that you are being told by your sources, Professor Mishra is very clearly.
Here in Goa.
Padmaja, just tell
No, no,
us.
that
It
is
is very
your
clearly
wrong
being debunked there by
information.
Professor.
Why should she dish out this information?
Okay, we will
That
wait
is
for
the
a
wrong
confirmation on that.
information.
Can I please get in Reena Gupta? Reena Gupta, impressive debut nonetheless, but not close enough to forming the government.
Padmaja, see, in the
Where did you fall short?
in the last Goa elections, Padmaja, people voted for Congress, and then all the Congress MLAs were bought by BJP. So BJP did this Jor Tor Ki Sarkar, and then they ran the most corrupt government in Goa. Their own governor, Satyapal Malik, said that the BJP government in Goa is the most corrupt government. So Padmaja, today, can I please complete? Sanju Verma, please.
No, if you
Can I please complete? He ran. He said very clearly that I was
I will interrupt you.
because I
What
raised
is your
this issue of
Mohalla clinic?
corruption. That is exactly what Satyapal Malik said.
No, please. Miss Verma, you don't like to be interrupted. Please do not interrupt others. Please, I'm going to request you. Give her the time.
And you're talking about propriety.
Okay, let Reena Gupta
Children are
finish.
dying in your talking about
Okay.
propriety.
Padmaja.
Okay, let Reena Gupta finish, please.
Padmaja, you will see as we get closer to the elections, Aam Aadmi Party numbers are only going to go up. We have an amazing chief ministerial candidate in Goa. The people of Goa want a change. They see a ray of hope in Aam Aadmi Party, and we are going to form the government in Goa also. Padmaja, you will see. Bhajpa or Congress, there's no difference. They just keep recycling people from one party to the other. And
No, which is fine. But we also have to remember that since you mentioned Satyapal Malik, despite the allegations that he has made against Pramod Sawant, he still remains a clear choice as far as the face of the CM is concerned. 24.74%, and the closest second to that, in fact, is your candidate, which is only at 16.11%. So Pramod Sawant still enjoys the confidence of the people, irrespective of allegations.
Let's see, Padmaja. Let's get closer to the elections. You will see that Aam Aadmi Party numbers.
Okay, let's see. Sanju Verma, quickly respond. Then I want to bring in Kamru Choudhury. Sanju Verma.
Padmaja, I always say that the BJP's biggest trump card is the double engine Sarkar, and in Goa it is the Modi and Pramod Sawant combination. I'll just tell you one thing. That why people are voting over the BJP, it is because the COVID management was excellent, and when cyclone stopped with Goa, the cyclone management of Pramod Sawant was impeccable. In Delhi, your Kejriwal मुझे वोट दीजिए, मैंने वैक्सीन लगा ली है, आप भी लगा लीजिए. That is all that Arvind Kejriwal did. Pramod Sawant was working on the ground for the people when the COVID second wave struck. Pramod Sawant was in the midst of people when cyclone struck. Today, Goa tourism, despite the COVID.
Okay, you want to quickly come in on that, Professor Mishra? Professor Mishra is smiling about your COVID and cyclone management. Professor Mishra, want to quickly come in on that? Why do people still like Pramod Sawant?
Of course, very quickly, BJP is extremely unpopular. And of course it is a fact that the opposition is not united here. But there is no doubt that BJP is going to be disclosed. Just now Sanju Verma spoke a lie. He was lying when he accused Mr. Pelero of leaving the party. In fact, it's the BJP leaders who are leaving their party in droves. And he doesn't even have the patience to listen to others. He is all the time attempting to.
Okay, we will see who leads and who stays back. But very quickly, is it getting very tiring, Kamru Choudhury, to keep explaining why state on state other parties are growing at your expense? And this is being seen in the tracker also. If anything, your graph is going down in every state.
Padmaja, I believe your survey was done prior to 15th of January, if I'm not wrong. After that, a very big event happened in Goa. One of the most erudite statesmen that Goa had was Manohar Parrikar from the Bharatiya Janata Party. His son was denied a ticket, and he entered the fray as an independent. That's a very big event happened in Goa, and people are decision.
But how does that help the Congress?
Wait. When Sanju Verma discusses the Congress party, you do not interrupt. Give me that privilege also. Let me come to my party. I'm coming.
Yes, go on.
Second point, when you see Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal campaigning in Goa, he brings in the caste equation in the Goa politics, whereas Goa politics has been so far caste free. He brings in the Bandari and the non-Bandari communities in the Goa. This point number two. Point number
this is not about examining everyone's campaign strategy. And since you said that yes, the caste equation was brought in and the CM candidate was announced from the Bhandari community, the fact is we actually questioned. We put that question about that also, where we asked Goa में अमित पालेकर को CM उम्मीदवार बनाने से आम आदमी पार्टी को फायदा होगा, and 56.32% said हाँ होगा. So anyway, the point I was trying to make is that you have the Congress consistently in your vote share going down, but the question that remained was who is gaining at your expense. At least in Goa, it very clearly is the Aam Aadmi Party, which stands at 26.94%. The TMC could just take away 3.42% of that pie. I'm going to move on now to Uttarakhand. I think Professor Mishra and Mr. Sethi, I will thank you. I will let you go because I don't want you to wait. It's late in the night. Let me move on now to Uttarakhand and take the numbers quickly of Uttarakhand. If we are talking about the vote share now, what is the vote share like in the state? BJP is there at 41.11%, Congress is at 27.31%, Aam Aadmi Party is close at 18.67%, and others are at 12.91%. Quickly, let's go to the seats, and as far as seats is concerned, the BJP seems to be doing very comfortably, 42 to 46, Congress 12 to 14, Aam Aadmi Party 8 to 11, and others at 2 to 5. Who is the preferred candidate when it comes to a future chief minister? And people have overwhelmingly voted for Pushkar Singh Dhami. The most popular candidate is still Pushkar Singh Dhami. However, Harish Rawat is a close second, and yet Mr. Choudhury, you continue to somehow torment this beleaguered man even more and more. Barely had he escaped from Punjab and tried to find his feet in Uttarakhand. अभी आप लुइंजो फलेरियो की बात कर रहे थे, आपने हरीश रावत की सीट क्यों छीन ली?
When you don't know about the internal politics of the state and the strategy that the Congress party is projecting in Uttarakhand, it's unwise to speak on Harish Singh Rawat. He decides for himself which seat he wants to project, which seat he wants to fight.
I say this very respectfully. Does anyone know what the strategy of the Congress is, including the congressmen themselves?
No. Padmaja, one simple thing out of your survey, what is coming out? In Punjab, the BJP is nowhere in sight, despite having an absolute majority in the center. In Goa, their vote share has come down. In Uttarakhand, their vote share has come out. Now, tell me one thing. In 2017, the people of Uttarakhand voted and gave the Bharatiya Janata Party 52 seats. Then what was the necessity to change the CM 3 times in the state? The ground reality, madam, please come to the reality. The ground reality is BJP is on its way out in 4 of the 5 states that they are ruling right now.
Okay, Mr. Choudhury, you are just happy कि BJP का vote share धीरे-धीरे नीचे आ रहा है, and you are possibly hoping that they will eventually reach a point where they will go to zero and then you will start growing. I suspect we may not be around to discuss it at this point. Sanju Verma, for now at least it seems that despite the instability, changing chief ministers, for now Mr. Dhami has steadied your ship. For now.
Padmaja, one area where I would like to agree with the Aam Aadmi Party panelists is the fact कि आज हर कोई समझ चुका है कांग्रेस को वोट देना मतलब अपनी वोट को बर्बाद करना है. Very interesting that you have given us a 41% vote share. Last time also, the BJP was at 47% vote share. And despite an anti-incumbency, because Uttarakhand also very rarely votes the same party to power, and if Pushkar Singh Dhami comes back to power, if BJP comes back to power for a second time consecutively in Uttarakhand, it will be for the first time in 21 years. So despite the odds, despite the challenges, having a 41% vote share and you've given us between 42 to 46 seats, I think that's excellent, and I'll tell you why. Forget about the fact that we changed chief ministers. What is the current chief minister doing? I will again say, Uttarakhand along with Goa, Lakshadweep, Himachal Pradesh, these were the few places which recorded 100% of the population, the eligible population.
But Reena Gupta, Sanju Verma, sorry. I have to say as somebody who does belong to the state and also has family there, I'll largely tell you the sentiment on the ground is, the fact is Uttarakhand largely votes for Mr. Modi. So if you enjoy this kind of popularity, it is possibly for the Prime Minister. I don't know how much it is riding on your CM candidate.
May I please finish? Padmaja, you interrupted me. I'm sorry, I was just coming
Yes,
to that.
please finish because really must get in Reena Gupta now. Yes.
I think Prime Minister Modi has immense popularity in Uttarakhand. And I'll tell you something, let's not beat around the bush. The fact that, we freed the Char Dham from government control, I think that was a massive step that we took, and that only happened thanks to the political courage of conviction of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Free Char Dham from government.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, Reena Gupta. I'm really sorry I'm out of time because there's a very important story that I really must address. We've been following up the campaign for justice for Lavanya. I'll have to thank you. But like I said, this is going to be a regular tracker. We'll keep getting you the numbers as the political pulse goes up and down. For the time being, both ladies and Kamru Choudhury, thank you very much for joining me.